This is Illusion of Reality, Part 3. We trust you have already listened to Part 1 and 2, plus the introduction, in order to get a better understanding of what this series is all about. May I remind you that there are hidden thoughts, schemes, thematics, teachings embedded in the entire series, and in fact embedded in all of our series for those who have a discernment and a desire to learn. Each of our series is developed to bring one closer to reality and to break the denial bubble of the people of this world who choose to believe that this is it, this is life. Or worse, those who profess to be disciples of Jesus Christ and yet who live almost exclusively for self. I trust you will enjoy Part 4 of The Illusion of Reality. The explosive reaction of Dr. Wise to my use of the word conspiracy kind of ticked me back. It seemed to set off quite an unexpected response from him, I must say. We like to use this word, conspiracy, in the world. I know that. Especially the enemy, because it sort of throws a negative light on truth when it is being told, so that the people who hear it will immediately begin to dismiss it because the so-called authorities and the experts have so said. Well, I knew that. And Dr. Wise, of course, appears to be a man of, shall we say, great decision. He has a strong sense of purpose in his life, which I must admit I envy. He has a good direction and knows where he's going and what he's here for on earth, unlike most of us. And, I might add, he seems to have an extreme need for purpose and using one's time wisely while on this earth. As Dr. Wise re-entered the room, I wanted to attempt to apologize if I offended him. And Dr. Wise, I'm sorry, I did not intend to offend you, sir. Not in the least. It is, it's just that these global government rumblings have been through the years and decades. They go and they come. And over the years, well, quite frankly, I'm surprised to hear anything remotely close to this coming from such an esteemed man of science and knowledge and wisdom as you. Dr. Wise stopped abruptly, slowly turned towards me, and began to stare intently at me. It was a deep, soul-searching stare. I felt much like a surgeon with a scalpel was going into my deepest parts of my being, and I knew that it was going to go all the way through me. He walked back over to where I was sitting, and I was frozen in my seat, still at the table, overwhelmed. It seemed as if an hour of silence had slipped by before Dr. Wise once again seated himself across from me and spoke. I have a question for you, sir. A possibility, shall we say. I wish to propose to you this proposition, if I may. If you will so humor me, I would like to provide an opportunity for a posture of a scenario that may make you uneasy or throw me totally into the science fiction realm. Well, if you will, consider, sir, a moment with me this proposition. Consider that our society, as we know it today, your friends, your relationships, your social setting, your employment, our employment, people's employment, their careers, their education system, their church communities, the economy as it is, every aspect of society as we know it, even down to, and this is probably going to really bother you, the decisions and choices that we make, they're all in a pre-design. They've already been structured. And I know that sounds like I'm saying, sir, that you are a robot or we are robots, and I am not at all trying to imply that. But what if our society as we know it in America and Europe is already structured? In other words, what if, dear sir, our world as we believe it to be is merely an illusion? A designed, a prefabricated labyrinth. You know, a labyrinth is kind of like a maze, so the difference is there's only one place to get into and there's not all those accesses that mazes have. What if life is already a pre-designed labyrinth, constructed to funnel and direct our moves, the moves and decisions of the masses of humanity towards one single goal, one single purpose, determined by a power that most of us are not aware exists or have never seen, and even professing Christianity doesn't believe. I see by the facial features you're troubled by this, and I know this is disturbing, sir, but may I continue? You know, I've spent all these years in government work. I've helped set up international surveillance. I've connected some global ways that we can keep track of population movements and even be a participant in how we want that population to act and move. But if you will, dear sir, I propose that even human decisions are masterfully managed by unseen forces that are designed to give us the illusion that what we have here in life is real and that our choices are ultimate, whereas in truth, we're merely selecting from pre-arranged choices, all of which the choices are acceptable. It's, if I may be so bold, it's like your American democracy, as you call it. What if, sir, that it's been designed so that the choices you have are acceptable choices, but both choices, or whatever government party you have, or whatever presidential candidates you have already been predetermined. But in order to keep the people pacified like a baby, they give you choices. But the ultimate choice is really already made. The machinery is operating behind the scenes. And everything is built and designed in this illusion we live in called life in this world to make us think that we are making decisions, we have a part of things, and that we really have a choice. But the truth is, we're like little mice running around in a maze, doing the same things over and over, satisfied as long as we get what pleases us. We get our food, our little wheel to run around into, go through the various avenues of what we call life, family, marriage, education, but everything's already been pre-agreed and pre-designed. By that I mean family, careers, religion, political views, political elections, government structure, local, regional, national, international, even our secret innermost dark ramblings can be easily manipulated by others, sir. We can do it through so many means, which I will avoid getting involved in discussing right now. But it's been my life work for the government. Dr. Wise abruptly jumped up from this discussion, moved his seat back, leaned across the table right in front of me, and stared intently into my eyes right in my face. What if, dear sir, your entire life was predesigned illusion, a prefabricated design of another person's desire for how they want you to live, what they want you to ultimately do, and how you will do it. But it was designed, sir, within a framework of choices to give you the illusion that you're making life choices. What if our choices are the actual walls of our labyrinth, the partitions that separate us from other areas, the dividers, if you will, within a well-designed labyrinth where you can take different directions and go in different rooms, all making decisions, but ultimately you're being directed to the ultimate end that somebody else wants. What if that is what life is really here? Formed, all of us towards one common goal and end. Do you find it difficult, sir, to accept such a possibility? Do you find it overwhelming to even comprehend? Before I could respond, if I could have responded, Dr. Wise just turned and walked away. Right in the middle of the conversation. Walked out of the room. I sat, nearly in shock, overwhelmed, completely mentally disconnected and scrambled. Wow. All that I could do was sit in a state of paralysis, unable to even beg or to begin to ask for illumination or understanding the process of what this man was proposing, if such a thing is even possible. And yet I had to consider this reputable man. I could look around his house, his yard, his land, everything massively designed for surveillance. I knew deep inside, if I was going to really be honest with myself, which I don't think any of us are, that I was only not intrigued by such a proposition, but that also, secretly, I knew that it was extremely plausible. I've known it for some reason early in life, that on the global stage, catastrophic tragedies that we encounter on Earth, irrespective of whether we call them natural or man-made, what if there is a power on this earth manipulating them to move humanity into a certain direction? I knew he wasn't just blowing smoke, but I prefer to think he was. I know I sat motionless for quite a time. It seemed almost hours. My mind was simply unable to accept what I was hearing. My denial was full-blown. and I'm ashamed to admit how many biases and skepticism began to arise. And then I suddenly realized that Dr. Wise had re-entered the room, because I could hear him as if in a distant fog saying, "Sir, sir, are you okay? Sir, sir, can you hear me?" Dr. Wise was sitting directly across from me, and I had no idea he had re-entered the room. And he seemed deeply concerned by the look on his face. "Sir, are you well, sir?" he inquired once again. "Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry. I must have drifted off into deep thought or something. I'm not sure what was going on. Forgive me, Dr. Wise. Your discussion proved to be a bit more than I honestly know what to do with right now. Sir, I'm just overwhelmed." "Well, of course you are, my man. Of course you are. I do understand, believe me. Many years ago, like yourself, I stood at the same crossroads of life where you are. I had to make some choices. You'll find out yourself. No need to apologize. Actually, sir, I find it quite refreshing to know you are at such a crossroads." "Why?" you might inquire. Simple. Very simple. To be at this crossroads means that you have reached a part where probably less than 3% of the world will ever reach. And that includes those who profess to know Jesus. It means that your soul has been undergoing major plowing. The soil has been fertilized and prepared by the Holy Spirit to receive what we now are sharing. It indicates to me that you're not just one of the, as others have called humanity, sheep, dumb sheep, just going about their own self-centered business, but that you have a spirit in you that's coming alive and seeking higher things. No, 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 sir. I'm not at all dismayed at what I see in you. I see a man coming alive, and with that comes questions, of course. But Dr. Wise, I have to admit, can such things as you're proposing to me actually exist in this world? Is it even possible to be as if we're on the stage and the stage has been structured called life? I mean, the ramifications of what you are suggesting, if it's true, is astronomical. I'm just not sure, Dr. Wise, that if I were to face that, I would know what to do with it. Well, sir, perhaps that's why God has brought you to this place. Perhaps why His determinate counsel has put us together at this time, that you may have the opportunity, as some do, to hear, to weigh, and to evaluate your place in this, if there is one. Now, I'm afraid that we're probably going to have to close our meeting because there's other things that I need to attend to, and I'm sure you do too, and it's late into the night. I'll help you get out the gate and see that you're on the correct way back home, and I'm sure you have a lot to think about, and pray God's Spirit and power will be with you as you go back. The enemy is not happy at this meeting. We'll pray that the angels of God will surround us, and that anything that might have slipped out into the airways of evil will be scrambled and forgotten, and that we will remain safe in the arms of the Lord until His complete and perfect will is done. I wish you Godspeed, dear sir. And I thank you so much for coming. And I apologize for saying perhaps I'd made a mistake in asking you. I see God is working with you. I won't at all be surprised, sir. Not at all. If I hear from you again real soon.